Hey, nice to have you with us. It's Mansfield today, Sunday, and time to get into the garden with Melanie Walker. Hello, Melville.
Hello, darling. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
You're looking fantastic, as usual.
It's summer, spring. Well, I don't know if it's summer or if it's spring. It's one of the two. It's hot, it's cold, it's hot,
the
it's
mornings
cold.
are still fairly chilly.
Yeah, but some days they're not. You know, you put all your winter clothes away, like I was saying, and then the next thing you need to put some jerseys out. It's very annoying. You know.
Now, this is a fascinating thing that you sent me during the course of the week. This whole thing about old wives' tales and gardening, because you know you hear from your mother who heard from her mother who heard from her mother that the best thing to do for a lemon tree is to beat it, and then it grows bigger lemons.
Yeah, there's so many of these stories out there, and I mean, I run a garden club and I do talks for garden clubs, and there's some of the questions I get thrown at me that we've heard you must do this, and we've heard you must do that, and then of course everybody gets onto Google, and sometimes, trust me, Google is not your friend. Okay, so we'll try and demystify some of the myths.
Right. Food and plants and black tea.
Black tea.
Is it true that they make plants happier?
Definitely when it comes to maidenhair ferns, and maidenhair ferns, some people say, oh, they're very tricky to plant and grow. You know what, if you have them in the right conditions, apparently settling them down with a bit of black tea, and you can use the tea bags or actually but not hot, hey? Don't use hot tea. Let it cool down and use that. It really does actually help them settle themselves in a lot better.
Okay, well, speaking of teas, do plants like rooibos tea?
Oh, yeah. And the same way that it's really good for us, it's really good for plants as well.
Oh.
And especially as you get that rooibos mulch. If you use rooibos mulch, I mean, the tannins and the wonderful stuff that's in there actually goes into the soil and really, really helps the plant as well. So, and the added bonus is it keeps away all the nasty nunus as well. And you're mulching with it. So you can take the rooibos tea bags, or rooibos, I can't even say it, rooibos tea, and put that on your plants as well.
Well, speaking about keeping nunus away, is it true that tobacco dust keeps ants away from?
A lot of people will go for tobacco dust. Personally, I don't think that you should be putting that into your... you can actually take, like, if people have been smoking, you take the storm peas and the last little bit of tobacco that's in there, you put it into water, and you can use that for weeds. And then they say you can draw a chalk line. This is always the favorite one of the older people. Take a chalk and you draw a line, and then the ants are not going to come past that line. Of course they will. They'll just go and find another way around.
No, but
Diatomaceous Earth is the way to go. Okay.
What?
Diatomaceous Earth.
Stop swearing on the show.
So what I do is I make a mixture of diatomaceous earth and then either cayenne pepper or black pepper, because I don't like the smell of either of those things, and then I sprinkle that around. And what happens is that, first of all, the peppers will keep them away from the areas you don't want them in. And then if they do take the diatomaceous earth, they take it back into their nests, and it kind of dries them out and desiccates them, and it can actually wipe out the entire nest. So that is the way to go. Don't use chalk lines.
No, chalk lines.
Yeah.
Not all ants are the same. Some ants also pass on a barrier crossing.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what he's trying to say.
Yes.
Eggshells, are they good for plants?
Yes.
Are they?
They are, especially for things like tomatoes and your solanums. Okay, solanums being your potatoes, your tomatoes, your brinjals, all of those kind of nightshade plants. Okay, because a lot of them will end up getting what they call blossom end rot. So it will actually affect the plant right from the beginning. That's usually because of a lack of calcium. And it's one of the questions I get so often with pictures being sent through to me saying, what is going on with my fruit? It started growing, but it's like rotting from the inside. That is a lack of calcium. And one of the things you get from eggshells, of course, is lots of calcium. So you've got to really grind it up quite finely, pop it into the soil, and that will actually help your plant. If you don't grind it up, it's also a good way of keeping snails and other things away from your little seedlings. You crush them, but not too finely, and you put it down, and they won't, the snails and slugs won't go over it. By the way, they do like beer. I know Jeremy won't like to use this particular remedy for getting rid of slugs and snails. No?
No,
Because he
I
wants to drink the beer.
open a beer outside and there's just snails and slugs come running after me. It takes them about a year.
They go into it and they drink it and they drown and they die happy. What can I say? But you can also use copper wire, surprisingly. They don't like going over copper. So, I mean, if you put some copper wire down where you see that there's a lot of slugs and snails going after your plants,
They won't go across it.
they won't go across it because it sets up some kind of weird tingling in their bodies. Salt is also a good thing. You can use them on slugs and snails, but personally, I don't like to do that because it's a painful death for them, apparently, and it's not great for your soil. Can I talk about Epsom salts while I'm talking about salt?
You can talk about it whatever you want to, but you've got about 100 bloody questions here.
Well, yeah, 100 things of the things
Yeah.
that are... So Epsom salts is another old wives' tale. There are some people who will turn around and say to you, use Epsom salts, it's going to be fantastic for your plants, etc., etc. It is not, okay? Rather go for a balanced, well-balanced, shall we say, organic fertilizer. It'll give your plants everything they need, okay? But there's nothing wrong with actually putting in nails. You know, did your mum ever say to you,
Yes.
put nails,
Put
rusty nails,
Yeah.
coins, that kind of thing down in the bottom of your plants? And it does help with some of them because, of course, the iron oxide or the aluminium will actually come out.
Leaches into.
Yeah. But I mean, if you don't have any of those around, you can always use like the supplements that you would get for plants, and especially the aluminium sulfate, which is one of the things that plants might need.
Right. Fruits. Banana peels.
Yes,
What should you do with them? Are they actually useful?
they are very useful.
Oh.
Banana peels are one of the best things going, honestly, because of the amount of potassium they have in them. And potassium is the thing that helps your plant fruit flat out. Okay. So, and flower. When I say fruit, it's always the flowers as well. So you would take your banana peels, cut them up quite finely. You can either put them underneath the soil, especially for roses and things like that. Roses love the banana peels. Or you can just lie them on the top of around your orchid. If you've got an indoor orchid, you cut that. But what I do is I take my banana peels and put them into a bucket with some water, let them stand for a couple of days, and then throw that water and the banana peels into the soil. And it helps your plants immensely.
Okay,
Yes, true.
speaking of fruits, you see, I don't know if you've put some in here that are just here to pull the piss out of me.
No, not at all.
Will sprinkling sugar around your tomatoes or strawberries make them sweeter?
I had the same response that you had when I was asked this question about 5 times. Should I put, somebody says that I must put sugar around my peach tree, it'll make my peaches sweeter. I'm like looking at them and going, are you completely mad? The plant is not going to eat sugar, okay?
Okay.
You just have to have the right balance of fertilizer. And as I said, an organic one, because that will actually then help your fruit. And watering has a lot to do with it. If you underwater your plants, they're not going to give you as much in the way of a succulent fruit as well. But do not sprinkle sugar around your plants. All it will do is attract all the ants and other sugar-loving bugs to your plant, and then they'll eat that.
Right, 4 more
Yeah.
questions.
Yes.
Right.
Test the team.
Please say yes to this. Peeing on your plants, does it help them?
Well, I know it can help them quite a lot, but in moderation.
Okay.
You can. Women don't go and pee on their plants.
No, men do.
Men pee on plants.
We love it. Well, I was always told, my mom always said, my boy, you want to have a pee, go pee on the hydrangeas. Brings the colour out.
Well, it can do, yes. And especially things like lemon trees. Although,
Really?
Yes, lemon trees, because there's so many amazing things in urine.
Yes.
All these minerals and stuff that you need. Let me see, there's nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and other minerals. However, there's also uric acid, and that can be a little bit problematic. So you don't want to pee on your plant too much, and don't pee on the leaves. Okay, gentlemen, just aim it at the soil, okay?
We can't even aim into a bowl. How are we going to
I
aim it on
know,
the soil?
you're going to have to put a marble in the back of the
Yes,
toilet. You can
today.
aim at that.
Right. Does talking to your plants help?
We'd have to ask Prince Charles that one. Actually, yes. I'm a big tree hugger, literally. I will talk to them. I will say I'm very sorry to them if I see that they're not feeling well. And it has been proven that talking to your plants actually makes them grow better. They did a whole study where they had a tree that was not being like
It was
had
being, that was
any
being
touching.
ignored.
It was being totally ignored. It was living in silence, and it did not grow as well as the other trees as well. So yes, talk to your plants. You can sing to them as well. They like singing. Apparently, they like classical music. I think mine prefer rock. I have a rock garden.
Oh, that's pathetic. Speaking of trees, do you need a male and female tree to produce fruit?
No. Well, let me qualify.
Oh, goodness. Can't you just give a no as an answer?
On the whole, your trees are self-pollinating. They have both male and female, so you don't need to have a male tree. On the whole, there isn't really a thing like a male tree and a female tree. There are things like avos that may need to have another tree in close proximity, but it's not a male tree. They all have male and female plants. The only plant that I've come across where there's actually been a difference is a kiwi fruit. And you'll have one male kiwi fruit for 5 females. Seriously. And he will look after his little harem of kiwis.
Sounds like Nkandla. Yeah, that's it for time. And remember, piss op jou plante.
Ja, sê vir jou.
But aim!
Aim, get your aim straight, ek sê.
Thanks, Mel.
Thanks, Jeremy. We'll see you again next week.
Yeah, good one. We'll see you next week as well. Cherry bye.